evening, right? Anyway, good evening. It is the podcast. It's now Tuesday instead of Monday, so that's a bit of a difference for ourselves. But there was a bank holiday in Ireland, and we just couldn't be arsed fucking coming in on a Monday. And what's happened? Well, since the weekend, myself and Shawnee have spoken for a record amount of times for football and Liverpool, and filled in an awful lot of dead air. And basically on Sunday, I gave up on football. I said, right, I don't care anymore.
We had a bit of crack though.
We did have a bit of crack. I will say to you, we had plenty of crack, and it was just now. That was it. It was job done. Did our job, Johnny, didn't we? Yeah. Did our job.
When did you start? So you started on the Friday tour guide, Phil?
I started in 2013. And even when I'm at home, I'm just talking about Liverpool randomly around the house to myself, giving out on the whole lot. Well, with my headphones on. The missus is there on. What's going on with you with the headphones on? Well, hang on a second. I have to stop you there. No, I started on, what was it? What day was the
Friday,
match?
I think. Yeah,
Friday. So Friday morning, I started doing the guides to Dublin.
Your first was at 9 o'clock in the morning.
No, it wasn't. No, it was lunchtime when I was on my lunch break.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It just happened that I'd recorded it the previous day, and the weather happened to be the exact same as it was at 9 o'clock that morning. So we started at 9, and then again we did 2 and 3, I think it was. Then at lunchtime, zipping around on a Dublin bike, because it is important that we get the Dublin bike. You are sponsoring the pod tonight. A plug in.
One of my favourite parts of the weekend was watching you knobbing about on a bike with his camera.
Do you like it?
It was great. I thought it was great, yeah.
If anyone's watching them back, if you watch carefully in the third video, a green van goes past me. That green van was literally within 3 millimetres of wiping me off the bike. So you could have had a snuff video for the same price of a tripper's guide around Dublin. Anyway, right, so we're in, lads. This is a big pod. Tonight's a big pod. Oof. It's the first pod of the season, right? So we've been doing transfers and anything. We've basically been filling space for the best part of 9 weeks, right? Repeating ourselves, yeah. You know, all we've talked about for 9 weeks is Van Dijk, Keita,
things are done. Things have been done.
Robinson, Salah, and Quaresma, right? So that's all we've talked about for the best part of 9 weeks.
The Samel talk.
And now it's upon us. The season is upon us, lads. On the horizon, we can see the Sky ads with ticker tape and all that type of shit telling us it's season 17-18. We're 1 year off Liverpool win the league and Klopp, right? So God, how is this going to play out? So I'll put it to tonight. The focus of tonight's show is the lead into this game. So I'm going to start with you, Andy Young. You are one of the happiest fucking Liverpool fans I've ever known in my life, right? I've seen you upset a couple of times, but not too many times recently. And I want to put it to you, and I put it to you, Andy. Is this the most excited you've ever been going into a football season since last season?
I'm not that excited. I don't know why. All this Twitter rumour shit's really got under my skin this time around. I'm annoyed myself that we haven't improved an awful lot. Going back to the days where you didn't have Twitter and you were just watching the Sky ads all the time, and your mum was singing, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Come up your butt." What's his name, man? Anyway, there was
Elton John.
Sorry. And you know, you were mad excited about the season starting, and you were just sucked in by all the glamour of the league. But now it's just wrecking me head, like the way all the money in the game and the way it's working against us in some senses, and it should be working in our favour in other senses, but it's not. So I'm a little bit down the dumps about it. I need to probably get off Twitter for the next few days and just start kind of, you know, like looking forward to seeing the team play, that we have the players available to us that did play on Saturday and excited me in parts, like especially in the second half when our fringe players came on and showed the team that they're quite capable as well. So I suppose you just got to knuckle down now and look forward to it, like, and support the team.
Is it just the business?
Jay,
yes, mate.
Hang on a second. Before you get too excited, because I do want to come to you last, because you are the most exuberant human alive when it comes to football. Shawnee, this is your first eve of the season, pre-season pod.
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking at your face. You look like a little kid at Christmas, right? You've got that sense of wonderment ahead of you. Come on. You've been very positive over pre-season.
Yeah,
Where are you now?
I took a couple of weeks, a little Twitter sabbatical away from all that shit.
It was never a couple of weeks.
It was actually, yeah. It was, because the only reason I went back on, because I was afraid my fucking account was going to get deleted. But then I kind of took a few weeks out, and when I came back, and I watched the preseason games, and I wasn't on my phone tweeting, oh, this, and this. I actually am looking forward to Saturday, regardless of all the shit that's going on. I genuinely am looking forward to Saturday. 12:30 kick-off. I'm even looking forward to Friday, the Arsenal and the Leicester game, because I watch as much Premier League football as I can. But I can see where Andy is coming from with the fucking deterrence and the chaos going on Twitter at the moment. Like, drag any positive Liverpool fan down, to be honest, because all they're reading is shite going against us, and nobody wants to believe the stuff that's not in our favour. And then when positive news comes around, it's hard to be optimistic, because once bitten, twice shy, all that. Like, it's just...
And one part of being a positive Liverpool fan, which I am, is you think we'll get these players.
Yeah.
But you
the
don't...
hope that kills you.
So...
And we don't know, like, sure we don't. And it's crap that the season kicks off on Saturday and we are really, really light in the squad. Like, I can't, like, I'm only focusing on the Watford game. Like, after the Watford game, then we'll be looking forward to a Champions League tie on Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think anyone's even paying any mind to that, because they're too caught up in the crap going on with Coutinho, Van Dijk, all of this mad buzz just going on Twitter. I've just taken myself out of it now, and if you don't laugh, you cry. So I just start making a joke and taking the piss out of the situation.
I kind of look at it now. Like, I try not to get. I said it today in the WhatsApp group. I try not to get attached to players and all the nonsense as much as I can, because I used to get too much into it. Every slight bit of breaking news, I'd believe it, and it was a dead cert. And you just got stung so many times. I think it was around Mkhitaryan time, and who was the guy that we flew over? Ian Air was. There was so many that just seemed to fall through the net. So I just at that point thought, you know what, it is what it is, and that's how I'm viewing this window. I totally get why people would be a little bit disillusioned and nervous and a bit fed up with the nonsense on Twitter. It's every small bit of news whips up a frenzy, and it really doesn't need to be that way. The stuff with Coutinho, nothing has changed.
It's not even news, Jay.
Nothing has actually changed. We've said he's not for sale. They bid 67 million or whatever it was. He's still not for sale. He's not going to kick up a fuss. They're just trying to whip up on their side, to try and turn his head and obviously force his hand. Nothing's changed. Van Dijk, something has changed.
Yeah.
If that does that affect the transfer? Southampton still probably don't want to do business with us, but it's definitely a positive step. So I could understand people talking about that, but it just seems like people are clambering for any type of
Forget about the transfers for a minute, Andy. To pick you up, just think about it. Saturday lunchtime, you're going to get to see Salah, Mane and Toy Story teeth Firmino up front for the first time.
Yeah, okay.
And it's going to be great.
I know, I'm not positive about that sort of stuff, but I'd be completely hypocritical now to join in with this positivity that, okay, Klopp has spun it now. Oh, look, we've players that we didn't have before, kind of thing. Like we've Milner now for midfield, we've Solanke, who's been a surprise. Like all of that's pure. Okay, that's pure Rodgers stuff, right?
That annoys
me. If that turns out, okay, just take it literally for a minute, because the season's starting on Saturday. I know the window doesn't close for another month or something like that, but the season starts on Saturday, and they are the words, and if the window closed right now, they are the words.
Situation.
I said at the start of the summer, this is a massive, massive, massive test for FSG. Okay, it is a massive test. If the window closed right now, they failed. They failed us completely.
Lads, just let me jump in, Andy, because I do want to sort of steer away from the transfers on it, because I think, and I'm as guilty as anyone, and I said it to you, Jay, today as well. If the transfer window closed today, right, we've had an absolute cat's abortion of a transfer window, right? Like there's no two ways about it, right? But at the same time, the football season is kicking off at the weekend. We've had a pretty good pre-season, and I just want to sort of for this initial intro of this, I just want to focus on what most football fans and the feeling I'm not getting back necessarily from most of the moany fuckers that are on Twitter, right, is that they just don't enjoy football anymore. And Neil, you are one of the biggest fucking moany fuckers I know, right? So are you looking forward to Saturday? Yeah,
and I'll tell you why, because the shit that happened in the summer doesn't surprise me at all. I was expecting it all. It's just a soap opera, and I knew that was going to happen, because history, if you want to know what's going to happen in the future, look to the past, and that's just what happened. So I'm really excited about the season starting, because the whole transfer saga thing doesn't bother me at all, because I expected it. I'm not surprised at all. I can't wait for the football to start again.
What was that line you gave there? I like that. If you want to know what happens in the future, look back at the
past.
Look to the past.
Beautiful.
I can't remember who wrote it.
It was Neil Gray.
Was Neil Gray, was it? That's because Neil Gray was robbing it off somebody at the time.
Exactly. No, I'm excited about it. I genuinely am. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where, because look, we've
the
watched.
expectations aren't sky high.
I know.
So
okay, so and this is where I want to go. Look, and the reason why I'm doing it because we will talk about transfers and what's going on in the window, right? So we will get onto it, right? But I just want to set out the opening because it is, and I really want to focus on it. Look, lads, we've come through a preseason, and I can't remember, and I'm going to say it honestly, I can't remember a preseason where I haven't thought to myself, Jesus, we look a bit dodgy, right? and I have to say, right, coming out of this preseason, as much as some of our defending has been off at times, right?
We only conceded 4 goals. So.
I know, as much as it's been off, I've looked at that team and said, most good sides in pre-season find a way to score goals and they work out their issues on defensively through coaching, etc. over the first couple of weeks. And if you ever watch the start of any season, you tend to get a raft of goals in the first 2 or 3 weeks and then teams start to shut up shop at that stage, right? So, and out of this pre-season, has this impressed you more, or is it just the same? Or can you look at this team now and say, do you know what? If this 16 manages to stay fit somewhere, I think we're going to do damage in something this year.
Yeah, I was well impressed with Liverpool last year at times. I think what Klopp is doing is exciting. It's totally pro football. Like it's not like it's boring the shit out of us and we're dropping the odd point. At least when we're dropping points, we're going for it. I know it's clutching at straws for positivity, but if the team is playing well, we're enjoying ourselves. The preseason has been good. Like we're effectively not unbeaten because we had the 2 draws and we lost on penalties, right? But aside from that, it's been impressive. Like we played well against Bayern, we played well against Bilbao. There's some of the attacking play, especially like with the youngsters, the way Robinson and Salah were linking up, and the way Mane was. There's lots and lots of positivities to take, but we kind of know that. Right, we know we're capable of doing that, and Salah's going to add to it and everything else. But what we also know is we concede goals, and there was about 4 occasions against Bilbao. I think only in the first half alone, where we lost the ball cheap in our own half or just inside the opposition's half, just with sloppiness. Okay, and it results in chances that a good team, it becomes a 50-50 whether they score or not. Now, in the Premier League, you're coming up against an awful lot of good teams. Even the shit teams can be lethal up top. Like we play against Bournemouth or something, and Defoe's up top. He's going to take his chances. So we cannot afford to be giving teams 4 and 5 50-50 chances a game. It could be the difference between a 3-0 and a 3-3 and a 2 points dropped. And we can give out about Lovren's attempted flick away. Yeah, it was shy. It was crap. And you'd hope in a bigger game he'd go through the man or he'd go back to the goalkeeper. But
there was 3 or 4 elements before it got
these things. Yeah, and it happened again and again. And like, it's not just Lovren involved, and it's Matip's involved in them, Chan is involved in them. They're all involved in it.
I think that one was a number of I think it was Origi.
Origi, yeah. But what's happening is none of our team is defensively minded. None of them have any sense of awareness of what the opposition is doing when we have the ball. Yeah. So when we lose the ball, it's frantic.
There's nobody sniffing out danger.
Our midfielders look around and they realise they're either too far away from the opposition to bother tracking back, or else they're at a struggle, and everyone's backpedaling, and it's all mad, and the gap between the 2 centre halves is huge, and the fullbacks are pushed on, and so we end up in 1v1 situations, or else we're outnumbered. Now, like, getting Van Dijk in doesn't solve that. No. Like, he's not going to say, right, forget what Klopp said, we're going to stay tight and compact here. It's going to be the exact same. So we just hope that Van Dijk is better at set pieces, and when he gets chances 1v1, he takes them and he wins his tackles and stuff like that, and he reduces the goals conceded by 10. But in the preseason, we're talking about the preseason, we still look as dodgy at the back in terms of giving away chances to the opposition.
And I totally agree. I think Klopp said it many a times. His teams, he either wants you to be an offensive option or a defensive option. There's no kind of in between with him. So you're either all going gung-ho, which often means that centre-backs are massively exposed. So any centre-back in our system, so for example, I'd use Mamadou Sakho, right? In our system, he looked exposed. He went to Crystal Palace and he looked like an absolute world beater. I think the majority of centre-backs that will come into our system would look exposed. I think the reason why there's this clambering for Van Dijk is his ability in a one-on-one situation, his power, his pace. He can get himself out of, his recovery runs. He can get himself or get us out of a lot of shit. I remember when we played up at St. Mary's, there was a couple of times, I can't remember the striker, but they tried to burst away from Van Dijk. He just stepped across him. He just swatted him away. So I think he could definitely make a massive impact just for that fact alone. The one thing I've noticed in pre-season, aside from the defensive thing, which I think is always going to be an issue unless we bring somebody in, we look a unit. The squad looks a unit. There looks like there's threats all over the place. They all kind of know their role within the squad, and I think they all feel part of the squad. So, for example, you've seen the youngsters come in, slot in straight away. You look at the likes of Wijnaldum now. You've seen Wijnaldum playing as a 6. Klopp is tinkering with the players and getting them comfortable to play in all different types of positions. I actually that was one of the things at the game at the weekend that I took away from it, was the impact that Wijnaldum had in the second half as the 6. I felt we looked a little bit slow and lethargic.
But he was popping the ball about.
He controls tempo so well, and he's such a technically gifted footballer that against these teams, for example, that would sit deep against us, if he's dropping back, getting that ball, moving it quickly, the key to unlocking these defences that sit so deep is moving the ball quickly. If you have a Henderson and a Chan, I'm not a big fan of that partnership.
Grujic and Chan didn't really work.
He's heavy. Grujic is a good player, but it takes him a while to get going.
I said to you, Jamie, about the setup of Milner, Grujic and Chan was all the same. Not one of them
toxic.
Not one of them has that eye for that little slide pass. Right, and Henderson doesn't have it either.
No.
Right, so
Firmino was doing trying to
Henderson.
He
doesn't have it.
He doesn't.
He's not the same. He's not the same player as Lallana, Coutinho, or Wijnaldum.
He has got it in him though.
He does. No, listen, and so has Chan got it in him. But what I'm saying to you is they don't have it as a rule. Their first thought. So the first thought of Wijnaldum, Coutinho, and Lallana is they look for the attacking option, right? Chan, Henderson, and Milner look to go sideways or backwards as a rule, because when they were developing their talents as players, they were sitting at the bottom of the defence where they take a ball to give it, they take a ball to give it, they take a ball to give it. Whereas the other guys take it, turn it.
Okay, accept that. I'm just saying Henderson in a 6 would be a bit more adventurous than Chan in a 6 in terms of spraying the ball.
It's the crossfield passes. The crossfield passes that he can deliver and switch of play, particularly when you've got the wingers that we have, is worth its weight in gold, because he can create an overload. If you've got Mane, you've got Trent, you've got Robinson now, you've got Mane, doubling up on a wing. If you have a midfielder who can get his head up and just pop it straight away.
It's a couple of types of balls that Henderson plays that spring to mind are the deep crosses. He's very good at whipping a ball in away from the goalkeeper at pace that are dangerous from deep areas. There's not many players that can do that. Like, look, Chan and Henderson, both their qualities. It just seems when they're both in there together, it doesn't really work quite well.
The thing that impressed me,
if we were set in midfield, we wouldn't have went balls out for Keita. I mean, obviously, he thinks we need to upgrade
again, and that's what
we have in there.
What I wanted to get around on that is that, again, if you look at the idea of horses for courses, and you looked at the Henderson and Chan midfield against Munich, where they just snuffed out the Munich midfield, which gave us a base to build on and allowed our attacking players to go, that midfield is perfect for it. That's the midfield that's going to snuff out the Chelseas and the Cities and stop those teams from playing through you, right?
You just get the ball and
but if you're going to play against, Watford, and you're going to play against Huddersfield and teams like that who are going to sit back and camp, and you're going to have the ball anyway, you're not going to have a midfield to snuff out. You're going to need more Wijnaldum's, Coutinho's and Lallana's on the pitch than you do Henderson's, Chance and things. Now, Grujic for me is a really strange one, because he seems really to have a bit of both. He does have the
That's what I was about to say.
He's still raw, but he has a bit of both.
My main takeaway from the pre-season was we got plenty of good results, but a lot of the younger players and fringe players, as Andy was saying, look ready for, as Klopp said, adult football. Trent looks ready for adult football. Grujic showed like he's able as well. Grujic could be a very valuable squad player this year.
Do you know what I like about Grujic?
Not so much Kent, because to be honest with you,
Nabil El Kent.
Elzar, I was saying.
He's the Elzar. He's the new Elzar.
I haven't seen a lot in Kent. I think he
does a lovely step over.
I've literally watched him 3 games and he's already predictable. But Woodburn looked very good.
Looks different.
No, he's got
Woodburn has a few lovely
There's
players.
something-
Solanke as well.
We'll come on to Solanke
Yeah.
because Solanke's an important one, right? Because
Yeah.
it's
my new
thrown,
favourite player.
it's thrown a new thing.
He's
And,
fucking
you know,
quality.
That's 4 or 5 players that weren't much used to the squad last season that we can use this year. Who look like they're
last
ready.
year you'd worry about them coming
but
on.
they look like
whereas
they
now
are ready.
You know, for 15
even though it's
games a season,
even though
they'll
it's
make
only
an impact.
pre-season, they look like they are
Now,
ready.
it's just on that though, right? That's pre-season and everything else, and I'm fairly pumped about it. Like I think they're great, but at the same time, it's gone into the season with that gamble that Klopp took. Say with only 2 centre backs last year, and Lucas being kind of your third choice. It is a gamble to say, well, you know, if we do pick up 5 or 6 injuries over Christmas, we're depending on Kent and we're depending on Woodburn to play in the middle of the park. Like,
But I think
it's a gamble, but I'm happier with that gamble than previous gambles.
It's
For
kind of,
example,
you said it before on the Periscope, right? Where it's Klopp come out with the statements. Oh, you know, I'm happy with my squad, and I've got Milner now who can come in as a centre midfielder. We said about taking it literally.
Milner can't come in as a centre midfielder. I'll put you up on that.
No. Let me finish because you're probably going to say what I'm going to say. I wouldn't have him anywhere near centre midfield. Let's just get that right. Absolutely right. Like, that's not what I want here. But I think we're just talking in bodies. He's looking at a squad and he's saying, okay, if we're just looking at bodies alone, James Milner does now. Now we've got 2 left backs and Moreno's a little bit better. Now, let me finish. I still want us to add more players and buy more players. But if we're just looking at what he said, we have now got an extra body in the light of the Lucas Leiva.
That's doing the Lucas thing again. It's just shoehorning a player into a position just because.
But I don't think he's ever going to play centre mid.
But
I think he could be a good player to play out wide in certain games because his delivery of the ball
those games,
from the right
like
side.
you said, the Huddersfields at home. His delivery, his final ball.
I'll argue that around this is that when I wanted to talk about pre-season, I wanted to talk about the players who have surprised us the most, and none of us have mentioned Moreno, right? And I think it's unfair because the guy has managed to somehow avoid a transfer and work his way back into the starting position for the Watford game.
Yeah,
his plan was to keep Coutinho happy. That's why he's here.
What I'm saying,
he
is going to start the Watford game, right?
Probably.
People are going to lose their shit when he makes the first mistake of the thing. It's the same. It's the Lovren thing. No matter what Moreno does now, he has the label. He has the label. Right?
It's great to see Klopp doing the classic Leinster senior, isn't it? Yeah. Don't get rid of all the best players, mates, because he'll just fuck off somewhere else. we saw Lucas, so we have to keep Albie around.
But 2 players that have stepped up that you weren't necessarily expecting to get anything out of them this year is Moreno and Golanke, right? So, it's the way I opened the podcast with a song because it's important that Solanke in the main has suddenly just stepped in and stepped up. We've looked at Origi and everyone's looking and saying, where has Origi tailed off to? The player we saw 2 years ago in the run to the Europa League final has vanished. And this guy, and I'm the very first to say I was expecting to see him mainly in the 23s. He is our third choice striking option now.
Yeah, but
I'd push second at the moment with Sturridge injured.
I was watching him so closely because my brother had spoke to a couple of people at the academy that had worked with Solanke, and they said that he was brilliant. Bit of an attitude problem, like in that, you know, if it's not going his way in certain training sessions, maybe he rated himself a little bit higher at Chelsea and really wanted to play, which is no problem for me. He wanted to play, he backed himself. I really watched him closely on Saturday, and it's his off-the-ball movement is absolutely super. Yeah. And aside from that, you can ping a ball into him. Even he turns a bad ball into a good ball.
What age is he?
He's 19, 20.
He's 19, but he plays like a 26-year-old.
Yeah, he's been around, knows where he should be.
He looks like a young Sturridge. I hate saying this.
I'd say more
physical.
I think he's more physical.
Everyone keeps saying it, but if you look at young Sturridge in terms of his intelligence and knowing where to be at the right time and being able to do it, yes, they're physically they're different type of.
He seems to be scoring the same goal all the time. That's the mark of a good striker.
He's always in between the posts. I know that sounds silly when the ball, it's fizzing around everywhere.
It's not.
But like he's where he needs to be all the time.
This is huge, right? We bought a fucking streak of piss from Newcastle who didn't understand that if you go to the back post every time, you'll have 3 fellas standing in front of you that'll stop the ball getting to you, right? Yeah. When Benteke came to the club, he used to attack the front post. By the time he left the club, he only ever attacked the back post, right? What Solanke is doing and what Origi did when he first
Hold
came
his
in
position.
was to attack the space from the middle of the goal
Yeah.
to the front post. And that's huge for a striker because you're going to have a better chance of a ball getting past one defender than two. And if you go to the back post all the time, now sometimes you're going to pull away and go to the back post, but when you do it all the time, you're always going to, the crosser's always going to have to get past 2 or 3 players. Whereas if they're gambling to go middle or front side, they all only have to beat one player and then get in front of their marker to get it shot away. What Solanke is doing is that level of intelligence where he's making a fake run and then he's getting the space. He's creating 2 yards of space in the box. And the biggest thing for a top level centre forward is the ability to create space in the penalty
other
box.
thing as well was nobody picked up in a post match or anything that I read. For Woodbourne's goal, Woodbourne's first touch was lovely and his finish was great, but Solanke gets onto the end of a lost cross in the final third, and it's a lovely cutback. Whereas any other young player probably would have tried to stand the ball up and just dink it in the box, but he had the know-how to just pull it back in the edge of the box. Something you seen Costa doing time after time last season for Chelsea, and Hazard just running onto the end of it and bang, and that's like he's wise. He looks wise beyond his years.
We need to stop. Sorry,
there was a huge thing about who was going to get Tammy Abraham from Chelsea this year on loan because he banged in goals for Tammy Abraham, who's gone to Swansea. He banged in. He scored
somebody from Nashville.
No, he scored nearly 30 goals last year in the Championship. And I was reading like on a forum earlier on, Chelsea fans were saying Chelsea fans wanted to hold on to Solanke more so than Abraham, and when that situation went to shit, they were worried who he'd go to, and when they seen him going towards, they were like, bollocks. This is Sturridge all over again. It's a Sturridge situation all over again, where we've let a raw talented youngster go to a place where he might flourish.
Well, Klopp come out with an interesting comment after the game. I think he was like, the young players in my team will always see game time, or something to that effect. And I think that's why Solanke's had problems, because the one thing that's impressed me with him, maybe even Grujic as well, is they back themselves.
Yeah.
They really back themselves. It doesn't matter the situation. As I said, the ball's pinged into Solanke. He'll get his body in the way. He'll stop the ball and bring his ability to bring other people into play and then spin off and go. He looks like he's been, he's as you said, a 28, 29-year-old striker. Grujic as well. The thing that's impressed me is, like,
he's a dirty bastard.
He's a bit snide. He's good in the air. He's a presence, but he's got a ping on him.
Yeah.
Like he can, like he was doing like grass cutters, 40, come on against Bayern and just start pinging the ball over the place. Around, And I thought, these believe in themselves here. Like, they're not here to make up the numbers. So that's why, there's loads of panic about our squad, and rightly so in key areas. We've said it, we've done it to death. We need a centre-back. But outside of that, I actually think that we have numbers in our squad. I don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks.
I'll just finish it up because Moreno deserves some credit, and I still think it's been underplayed, right? For the fella to have been completely ostracised for best part of the season last year, right? Klopp in the press conference said, "I've found a new player in Moreno," right? He says he was somebody I couldn't rely on last year. He's gotten himself together now, and I can rely on him this season, and it's like a new signing. Now I hate that quote. Right, I hate the like a new signing quote. Right, because
but it has a bit of weight in this.
But because of the way he's performed now, either something, Moreno's 25. Sometimes the penny drops. Right, sometimes the penny drops, and he for the player saying, "Shit, where am I going to go to? I don't have a queue of clubs coming in here."
He was like a dog around a bone last year.
Yeah, whereas this year he looks focused. He looks. There was less ninja tackles going in over the course of pre-season, and a bit more intelligence. There was one against Bayern Munich, wasn't it?
Yeah. He has this unbelievable skill to get on the wrong side of it. It's like he's lovable though in a weird kind of way. He's playing looking into a mirror or something. He just runs the opposite way. Or when you're taking a picture on WhatsApp and it's the reverse. Moreno sees everything in reverse. Because there's no other excuse. There's no other excuse for finding yourself like a full
on the wrong side all the time.
On the touchline. How does that keep happening? Yeah, and then he tackles with his left foot from the other side. I
was very critical of him, and I think people kind of took it that like, I'm anti-Moreno. I actually like Moreno, and there's nothing that would give me greater pleasure than to see him fulfill the potential that I think he has. I'm going to dig
out the podcast where you hate Moreno.
I do, because it's the stupidity. So what's that thing? It's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Go on. I don't know. You put me on the spot now.
Shankly.
Where did we sign? Was that Cloyne's second season or fourth season? Second.
Who, Cloyne?
Yeah, just
Don't
trying to
know.
remember. I remember saying on the pod
Just had to stay
that
fit.
with Cloyne and Moreno, we've got one of the best right and left backs in the league. Like, you
Yeah.
know, that's how much I liked Moreno at one stage.
Yeah.
And then as time went on, I went, what's going on? Like,
But,
how
like,
did they get this so wrong?
But Andy, he was hanging around with Enrique for the whole season before that. I think, sometimes it can mess up your brain. Like, he ended up on hoverboards and mad stuff.
Walking a dog on a hoverboard.
Walking a
That's
dog on a
fucking nuts.
hoverboard.
If he cuts, and it was the same as last season. If he stops the brain farts, there's a player there. I just don't trust him to trust.
I will say one
stop
thing.
that.
Fair play to him. The resurrection of Moreno has been amazing
great.
because
It's
he's
been-
going to
it's been
start
great.
the season. Last year, he started the season as a starting left back and never played for the rest of the season.
No.
Right?
The-
This year, he's managed to play his way in, knock Milner out of the left back spot, right? To turn Milner, to Klopp looking and going, Jays, I have to play him midfield now. Unless I would rather now Klopp look at Milner and say, instead of playing Clavin, I'm going to play Milner as the reserve left centre back.
yeah.
Anything but
But
Klopp.
you know what?
I wouldn't even blame him for that Arsenal game where he
No,
he
don't
looked
start
like
that
he was
again, please. Don't
Holocaust.
start that debate again.
I personally wouldn't blame him for that. But that was kind of the nail in the coffin for him, and he didn't seem to play after that. I'd just be afraid that we just see a repeat of these kind of incidents.
Yes, that's.
And Moreno's had his chances, and he's okay if he sticks around for another season. It's a bonus to him. But does he deserve to start? I think Robertson deserves to start. It's his. It should be
I
his.
think Robinson
position.
is a more stable version.
Robertson. I keep saying Robinson.
That's 'cause it's
Robertson.
Jack
Robertson is a.
his resurrection is even bigger than Moreno's.
I think Robertson is a more stable version of Moreno, and I actually think he's a.
Yeah, but
bit-
I fucking play him.
But it's going to take him a bit of time. I think it's going to take him 5 to 6 games to
based
get
on
to a level where he needs to
Based
be.
on what Klopp has said, it's going to take him a good bit of time
Yeah.
to take that jersey at the moment. Now, unless Moreno goes back
Right.
into Super Moreno mode, right? And even then, I fancy that Milner will come back into the left back spot because I think I hate thinking about this, but I think Klopp is going to look to find a place in the team for Milner. I think he loves Milner
Yeah.
and he wants to put him in there, and he's
does.
trying to figure out
He
a place
does.
to put him in there. And it will not surprise me if he plays Milner right back ahead of Trent Alexander because of the age
Yeah,
of
probably.
Alexander, right?
Jesus, I never even thought of that.
And Moreno left back.
I know the one thing that I noticed.
So we could end up starting the season with we could have Milner right back, Matip, Lovren, and Moreno. If somebody said to you, and Mignolet in goal, if somebody said to you that in 2016, that
Holy
starting
fuck.
the 17-18 season, you're going to have Mignolet in goal, Milner right back,
Exactly.
Matip, Lovren, and Moreno, they would have, right? They would have spent 16 weeks pulling out fucking all types of videos of why that should never ever happen in the history of
I
football.
was looking forward to the game on Saturday.
But it's interesting you should mention that because things like this happen all the time in football, and especially with Liverpool and Klopp, he's full of surprises. And when people are talking about Van Dijk coming in and it just being automatically Van Dijk and Matip,
It's not.
I don't
just-
think it is at all.
you
Yeah.
cannot assume
think
that.
it's Van
I know
Dijk
it
and
may.
Lovren.
What?
I think it's going to be Van Dijk and Lovren.
Well, I don't. I'll say my bit on it, right? I think it's going to be Van Dijk and Matip at the start. If both are fit, that's who plays because it makes sense. Matip's playing over the right, and Van Dijk plays over on the left. But Lovren has played over on the right in the past for us, and if he wants to play football, that's the sacrifice he's going to have to make. He's going to have to play on his non-preferred side. So it could very easily be the case that Matip, as he did last season, he was out with illness or a little knock. Lovren comes in and retains his place. This is very possible. Like the Lovren nightmare. If you don't like Lovren, the nightmare's not over yet. It's not over,
and it's not going to be
and
for
it's
a
not
long
going to be
time.
over. Like people can pretend that Klopp has been trying to push him out the door and all
Since
that.
he walked in.
But they've ignored the fact that he gave him a huge contract.
Yeah.
Like a huge contract for
He gave him the armband
after
in some
third
games
choice.
as well.
You can turn around and you can say it's protecting his
think
value. But sure, we do not know if you spend 60 million on
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk, that means he's playing, right? After that, it's up in the
either
air.
or.
It's up in the air.
Matip was a
yeah.
free. Lovren was a £20 million signing, right? So no matter what when a club are looking at the saying, well, isn't it great that Matip's such a good defender, right? But ultimately, when Klopp looks at him, he's going to say to himself, right, and this is factual. People can argue as much they want. Lovren looks a better defender when he plays right centre back than he does left centre back. He always has. When they all got their wish and had Sacco in the team as their starting centre back, Lovren looked a lot better as a defender playing on the right hand side. When Klopp came in first and he had Sacco and Lovren playing, Lovren played on the right hand side,
and particularly alongside a dominant centre back as well.
And if he spends 60 million or 70 million on a centre back, no matter who it is, right, and their preferred side is left side, right. There is every single chance that Dejan Lovren will play right centre back, because Klopp thinks in his head that Lovren can play equally as well left or right side. And also, if you want to doubt me and you want to tweet me and you want to start going on with the shite that you normally go on me, you can at me all you want with your proof, right? But the facts are, and this is simple facts, we were prepared to let Joe Gomez go on loan, who spent the whole pre-season playing right centre-back, right, when we thought we were signing Virgil van Dijk. Which means, in Klopp's head, he's thinking, I've got Lovren and Matip to play right side, I've got Disaster and Van Dijk to play left side, or I might even put Milner into left side centre-back there if I need to, right? For the crack.
I think it'd be easier for people to just put the Lovren complex to the side for the season. No, honestly, like, to put the Lovren complex to the side for the season, because like Phil said, Klopp likes Lovren. Klopp likes Lovren. Whether you like it or not, he likes him. So, and you'll enjoy our football more if every time he makes a mistake, you're not fucking going nuts, because that's what it is. Lovren is one of them Liverpool players who was under a microscope, and we're going into a game on Saturday against Watford, and I reckon there's going to be 3 of them on the pitch. And so help me God, if one of them makes a mistake, and it's going to be Mignolet, Lovren, or Moreno. And if one of them makes any sort of mistake that leads to a goal or anything like that, you thought Twitter was bad today, and tomorrow it's going to be unbearable, no matter the result, because people love to fucking moan.
I think there definitely does need to be a fresh canvas for the season. Like, give Moreno his chance, give Lovren his chance. Whoever you have your hang up about, just get behind the team.
You cannot spend one part saying that he should do this, he should do that, blah blah blah, and I'm behind Klopp, and spend the rest of the time going, well, that's stupid, why is he doing that? Because you're either questioning him constantly, right, or you're not. Now, the reason why I've said it, and I'll say it out straight, I will criticise Klopp. I'm not going to sit here and say you have to get behind Klopp. I don't get behind anyone. I want them to make the right decisions, and if Klopp's making the wrong decision, I'd say it. If he's, in my opinion, right? I'm not going to sit here going, in Klopp we trust. I fucking hate that shit, right? If you want to have an objective and rational debate or irrational debate with somebody, you have to have an opinion yourself, and you have to be able to say, I have an opinion, and not be afraid to say it, and say, I think the manager is wrong. Okay? And to me, Jay, this is the problem. Everyone wants to sit there and try play the political game and say, well, I back Klopp. But no, you can say, I think Klopp is the right manager for the job, but I think he gets a lot of things wrong.
I think the one thing that I can throw at Klopp at the moment is I think he's a little too loyal to certain players. That's the one thing. And so, but with that, his whole idea, or what he sort of builds, is this: we're in it together. I'm one of yous. Play for me, and I'll give you everything back. So it's very difficult to build that sort of atmosphere in the squad if you don't back your players. So that's why I think the door has been open for the likes of a Moreno, who he's always said his attitude in training has been absolutely superb. And he's come in now; he's not made mistakes. Lovren has made mistakes. But at the same time, I think Klopp is looking at the centre-backs, and he wants to build a partnership. He wants people he can trust. He's made comments in the past, about trying to get a regular partnership. You can't build a team on a centre-back partnership that's constantly changing. So whoever out of those two stays fit the most is going...
Can I raise something on that point about Lovren and his errors?
Yeah.
His errors are glaring, okay? I think if you haven't really played football, or you haven't been involved in coaching, like, they will be the errors like that stand out to you and make him the worst defender. But when I see people saying he's out of position all the time, that's crazy. Someone said he was out of position for the goal against us on Saturday. How was he out of position? We were attacking and he was standing in the middle of the fucking park, and a ball was played in behind him. He wasn't out of position. Like, he was standing where he was supposed to be. If he's standing 2 yards or 3 yards left and the ball goes 2 or 3 yards right, he's out of position as well. Like it's absolutely mental.
But
the level of
There's
criticism.
nobody at that level. There's nobody at that level to be able to judge the trajectory of a pass before it's even been hit.
But sure, there's nobody on Twitter that doesn't qualified enough to be telling Lovren he's out of position when he's being told by his coaching staff where to be every
there's
game.
a couple of points on that.
Was stepping out of line, if Lovren was stepping out of line and not doing what he was asked,
here's something
the same fucking fate.
Okay,
here's something for some people to do next year.
Quickly,
right? People that are always scrutinising Lovren, right? Take for instance, right, Sergio Ramos, who people say is one of the best centre halves in the world. He makes mistakes every game.
Yeah,
he's literally caught like Lovren. He's always caught cold. That's why he's getting so many red cards, because he's just clever enough to pull people down to stop the goals going in.
Yeah.
If Lovren had that in him, look, we probably do you understand what I'm
or
saying?
if we had the pace that Ramos has to make those
open, expansive football. It's going to leave your centre. It gives you a weak belly. Your centre halves are going to struggle.
As I said, when we discussed when you're targeting a centre back, what do we need to say? We said we need a centre back who's comfortable enough to be able to cover the space behind him, because he's going to spend an awful lot of time either covering his other centre back or covering balls over the top, because they play so far up the pitch.
Chasing strikers.
Now, when you play Mignolet and you play that way, you create a bigger gap, because Mignolet plays deeper in his box than Karius or Ward.
Yeah.
Because if you looked at the two games in Germany, both Karius and Ward were playing outside the D at the edge of the 18-yard box. Yeah. Yet when you looked at Mignolet in the Weve, he's inside his 18-yard box. So what all you're doing is you're creating a bigger gap for teams to play the ball into. Inaki Williams, we've talked about him. There's a link to Inaki Williams today as well, right? And he looks an absolute beast of a player. Myself and Sean were sitting up before we did the live team. We were just talking about one of the players we were really looking forward to seeing in that Bilbao team was Inaki Williams, the guy who played up front.
Yeah.
And he exploited that gap between Mignolet and Lovren and Matip brilliantly. He just played off the shoulder and looked to play into it. And we haven't really covered the goalkeepers, because it's one of the biggest questions I still have is, I think if Klopp is true to his belief and true to the style that he wants us to play, he has to play either Ward or Karius in that first game.
Yeah.
But he won't. He'll play Mignolet, because he's going to go on the basis that Mignolet didn't let him down over the last end of the season, right?
And you have to play the percentages.
Maybe. But I still think in pre-season, all goalkeepers have played a fair stint. And if I was looking at it, I would probably fall on the side of Karius, because he's had the most game time, and of all of them, he still looks the quickest off the line.
I think I think there's a lot of truth in that. It's kind of like what Pep was trying to do. He kind of substituted a goalkeeper being able to save the ball for a goalkeeper that can use his feet. And with Karius, he moves the ball so quickly that it really does help the team get a head of steam and break quickly. Whereas Mignolet seems to save more shots.
Yeah,
it's so. Do you substitute the ability to move the ball quickly and break?
And he's commanded
stats on the day trippers. You got a stat on that?
He's got
on last season's shot to save ratio. Yeah, Karius was ahead of Mignolet.
Right.
Really?
Well, anyway,
by 2%.
Look at the.
Thanks for that, there, Phil.
No problem at all.
Stats on the day trippers, lads.
I don't think we've collected enough stats for Karius to give him a proper comparison. He's not. He hasn't played.
He played 19 games last year.
Yeah, it's fuck off.
Well, if that's
I don't know. Look back over all the seasons then, or whatever. I don't know.
It's still higher than Mignolet's.
Yeah. Anyway,
because I did go looking for it halfway through the season when we have.
If you look at Nick, anyway, his commanding of the area, collecting balls out of the air, it did improve last season. So comparing the two goalkeepers, Mignolet is probably ahead of him.
I think as soon as Mignolet. If that happens, he's done.
Listen, I would say to you, of all the three of them, I thought Danny Ward, of the three of them, but he's only played one game in pre-season. Yeah. But that game he played against Atletico Madrid, he looked like he had the best of both of them.
Yeah.
Right? He was quick with his feet, he was quick with his distribution, but he pulled off a couple of fucking blinding saves. In fact, the opening goal for Atletico Madrid, he makes a save initially,
it was an unbelievable
which is just off the fucking charts.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing
that the centre-backs aren't following up. And I would say Gomez, I think, as much as he's looked to improve in terms of where he's been and all the injuries and the whole lot, I was expecting a lot more out of him, and I thought his passing was well off in the Viva for a fella who played a lot of pre-season football. And if you want a team to play football and play out from the back the way Klopp does, Gomez is struggling because his passing and his ability to pass looks to be really hampered at the moment.
He didn't have a great pre-season at all.
No, I don't.
But the only thing is, we can't write him off. He had a horrific injury. I think it's an injury that every player needs a year
to come back.
from.
I just think he needs
He
to go
must-
on loan. He needs to play
Yeah,
football
but at the same
consistently to
time,
get
I
into-
wouldn't really trust him going alone because we need to look after him now.
Yeah.
And that
Huddersfield would be a
can't.
good spot for him, I think.
Leipzig.
Yeah, but even if he plays every game, we don't really want that. Like, if he doesn't trust that joint and he's guarding, he's going to pick up other small injuries and stuff like that. The player needs to stay with Liverpool now and get games in the cups and
Listen, up to Christmas time, we're going to play 2 games a week. Because of the League Cup and because of whether it's Europa or Champions League, and I'm not going to be presumptuous that we're going to get into the Champions League group stage, but no matter what, we are going to have a second team to play every midweek, as well as a fourth team to play every weekend. And Andy, your point is valid. If you play every week, midweek, right the way up to Christmas time, that's a lot of games that Gomez can get under his belt in that space of time.
We can look after him, we can give him games when he feels right, when he feels confident with that knee, and see where it takes him.
You'd still have him ahead,
of Clapham.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so, but I don't think in Klopp's mind.
Okay, lads,
he probably still has Clapham there.
We covered transfers heavily on the Periscope, right? But of course, look, the importance of one of the questions we were asked today was, do we think that Van Dijk could be wrapped up by the Watford game? I'd just like to answer that on behalf of the day trippers. Are you mental? Right? Because let's be honest about it. That was done weeks ago, along with Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain was done in April. But lads, forget about if it's going to be done before Watford. Even if it is done before Watford, the likelihood it'll be done about 10 minutes before Watford,
months
and he's
away
not
from
going
playing
to
anyway.
Yeah. Like Van Dijk has had no preseason.
Yeah.
Well, sending John Flanagan on foot with the transfer.
Yeah.
Bid, so
Yeah,
they might get there soon
yeah,
enough.
and with a note saying you can keep Flano as well as a gift, right? But in fairness, just fans need to, for this weekend, forget transfers.
Just focus on who's here.
Ignore ITKs, ignore transfer rumours, and look forward to seeing a ball being kicked in anger on the pitch at the weekend. Right? And look forward to seeing Anfield again. Look forward to seeing football again. Look forward to a Champions League match qualifier around the corner. Right? Just focus on that. Focus on that, because transfers will look after themselves or not. And when we get to September the 1st, if we haven't signed Van Dijk,
Then have you
and we haven't signed anybody else, by all means, go mental.
We're
Go
all
mental.
still going to be here though in December, pulling that hair up.
Yeah.
Man,
And you're still going to be supporting the team on October the 1st. You'll be giving out like fuck, but you'll still be there supporting them.
So focusing on the game, then, interesting that you say that, and I think you're going to come to it now. If you look at the Watford game, and then you look at the time difference we have before the Hoffenheim game, what's your 11 for the Watford game? Because there's to be fair, it's two totally different games. I think there's a case to mix it a bit.
I'll be honest with you. Klopp is saying that he's not looking at the Hoffenheim game, right? Look,
Do you believe that?
no.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Klopp knows in his head that we got our arses out of jail by the end of the season purely because we were so strong in that initial phase of last season. Yeah. And it will not surprise me if he looks to replicate it, because, and this will drive people mad, but I think he's going to look at whatever we do in the group in the Champions League this year is going to be a bonus. Right, with a strong focus on replicating, getting back into the Champions League, establishing ourselves as being a Champions League club, and looking to have a pop at one of the trophies, be it the Champions League, getting as far as possible in the Champions League, and maybe a bit of the 2005 magic where you just seem to get a run of results from February onwards. If you get through the group stages and you just get the rub of the green, and all of a sudden you can end up in a final, right? And like that, I'd say he's going to treat the League Cup as a proving ground for Woodburn, for Solanke, for
very good in Europe
for Gomez. Well. No, he is. But this is my point, right? So, I think he's going to look at whether, and I hate saying this, but even if it's the Europa League, he'll use the Europa League the same way as the League Cup to put the lads who aren't getting a look in. But for this, I say he's looking at the next block of 4 games, and he's saying first 11. The team that he feels is the strongest 11 at this moment in time will start all those games.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And don't forget how big this game is. These 2 games against Hoffenheim are as big as the last few games of the season last year. We're not quite there yet. We're not in the Champions League yet. We're the carrot is there.
Do you think transfers hinge on this game?
Yeah.
You do?
Oh, absolutely. I think.
So you think
I think if we went out, not going to the Champions League,
He's gone to Chelsea.
Not sign.
Do you think?
No, he doesn't give a shit. I know he said he wants to go to Liverpool, but at the end of the day, this is his chance now to go and play with a Champions League team.
Do you think that's in the board's thinking then as well? Do you think they're looking at this and going, hold on, we don't want to splash the cash at the start of the window because, we could, in effect, not qualify for the Champions League?
I don't know. Maybe the delay...
If we'd spent 100 million, I'd
the
say
delay in Van Dijk...
spent 47.
We're panicking because he isn't done, he isn't signed, and that, but are Liverpool really panicking to get a player in who can't start the season anyway.
Yeah.
You know, why would they be in such a rush to get him involved
it's not gonna
pre-season
impact-
when he's not?
Yeah.
Right. So they're businessmen. They're very relaxed about it. It's for them. It's a 9 to 5 job, and there's big money involved, and there's a lot at stake. We're fans, and we're just like gung ho. We want them in. We want them in. They probably know that if they qualify for the Champions League, there's more money available, and I'd say Van Dijk has something in his contract. Like, we hear various rumours. I would be a supporter of that rumour. Like the transfer request goes out just before the Champions League thing.
Yeah.
And so he's ready. And it gives Liverpool a couple of weeks to prepare their bid
And structure.
So yeah, I'd say a lot depends on it. And at the Phil, you're going to start talking about transfers at some stage tonight, are you? You asked me.
No, I'm not. Do you know why?
Well,
Because
anyway, you asked me at the end of Periscope, do I think there'll be signings? So I think there'll be a couple of surprise signings. When Jared was asked, he said something along the lines, I'm sure Klopp has things up his sleeve. I'd say we might see a couple of overnighters happen where, oh shit, I didn't know we go for him, and then he comes. And the Champions League is... the Champions League is going to depend on, like, we've all assumed since the end of May there that we're in the Champions League. We're not in it for a couple of weeks. So
if you had to hang your hat on a couple of players, who would you hang your hat on?
I wouldn't have a clue.
if I had to,
I'm not a scout. I don't pretend to be a scout. I'm not watching every league in the world. There's going to be a certain amount of players out there available for a move, and Liverpool will be very aware of it. And I'd say Klopp is his eye on a couple of players, and none of us know about.
I think it's interesting that the Hikam Ziyech rumour kicked off. And if you remember back in March or April, I was locked one night watching the television.
He's like Di Maria.
Yeah, and I texted the group, your man, that Ziyech fella looks like an absolute player, and he looks like the Klopp type of player. He's a little hungry wasp, running around the pitch, tackling lads all over the shop from midfield.
Can play wide and central? Or?
Yeah, now he's not the youngest. But he also reminds, in terms of, like, he just wants to go and snap, win, and play passes, right? So, like, you know what I mean?
The sound of him already.
Who's he? Where is he?
He plays with Ajax. Now, I thought he was 21 or 22, but I think he's 25 or 26. He's not that young, right? But he's the
what type of price would he command?
But suppose he's a 20 million release clause.
Okay.
And that's probably to a Champions League club.
So would that then in effect be a Chamberlain equivalent kind of signing? Do you know what I mean? Similar type of value kind of thing.
Except probably will score more goals and get more assists, because it's hard not to when you're an attacker than Chamberlain. Like,
I knew something was coming.
It's actually pretty impressive that he's enabled to do that. But no,
I'd imagine getting into the group stages will open a few doors.
I think something like that, and also, given where Origi is, I think Origi goes. I think Ings and Origi are going to go before the end of the transfer window. Well, I don't think Origi goes on a permanent. I think Ings could go on a permanent. He's not getting a sniff.
No, he's not.
He's not going to look like a sniff.
Unfortunately, like, you feel bad for the lad.
If that,
I don't. He's getting 60 grand a week.
If
and
the rumours,
some 10 out of 10 out of it. So, welcome.
She is hot.
If the rumours around Inaki Williams is right, and having watched him in the Aviva, he looked all the type of striker in the way Solanke is, right? That's that physical but quick moving, intelligent centre forward who knows how to make a run, but who can lead the line on his own. The one thing that was what really impressed me about Williams was his ability to lead that line on his own for Bilbao, especially when the teams were at them, and where the position he was taking up when they were looking to do quick counters.
He could even anticipate that we were going to fucking miss headers and everything. He was collect, like he'd look like he was coming into feet, but he'd roll off the back, and I was like, he's got something, that lad.
Me and Phil were kind of laughing at the idea, keeping an eye on him, but I think after 15 minutes
we were keeping an eye on him.
Jesus, he is.
Also, the Bilbao goalkeeper, because his name is Keeper. That was a very handy one. It's like you couldn't go wrong there. We got the team sheet. I said, "Hey, look at your man, Shani." He said, "Well, keep it."
How was it, lads, up in the old press thing? Was it good?
Crack, yeah.
There's a television there. It got cold.
There was nobody up there though.
Yeah.
I was trying to see whereabouts are you? You were left.
You're on the right hand side.
So you're right, but I'm left.
Do you know what I was devastated about?
I didn't feel too special when I looked around. There was loads of empty press boxes. I was
Do you know what I was devastated about? When I got home, right, I had a look at the press pass. You know the way they had the tickets over, right?
Yeah.
You took the tickets away. We had fucking access everywhere. We didn't look at it properly. We could have got into the presidential suite. Could have got into the hospitality and the whole lot.
I'm going backward for the next
I'm going back as well.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
It's going to be like that young fella who made the video on YouTube who went into McGregor's show.
Yeah.
I am going to make that.
Yeah,
I will be in the president. I'll be sitting beside Michael D. Higgins for every Ireland qualifier
me and
for the rest of
Charlie
my
have
life.
decided that we're going to cover the Irish qualifiers for the day trippers because we think that we've done such a good job there the other day that we're going to do for the Irish games as well. We think it'll be a big seller for international.
It was mad when I looked on Twitter and I seen the LFC España fucking Twitter thing. Twitter pictures of YouTube and fucking sombreros.
Remember I said to you, I said, hey, come on, we'll go over and talk to them.
And then Barnett in the background.
Right, lads. A couple of things to wrap it up. So onto the tripper stats. Andy, I know you love the tripper stats because they're made for you. Basically, everyone just texts in to ask Andy this.
My missus texts me questions for the day trippers.
Did she?
Yeah.
What did she ask?
Question 1. Do you let your 3-year-old nap so he's still up at 9:20 when your wife needs to go to work?
Oh.
Question 2.
I've got a feeling that's
On the day
somewhere there.
trippers, when your son is still up at 9:20, what do you do?
Okay, Brenda, I can answer. The last one is just stick him in the room and lock the door. Right, just take all the dangerous
The crying
stuff away.
out method.
What?
The crying out method.
Yeah, but if you soundproof the room, it's grand. Right, so
Not my problem.
the second one is I don't think that's a fair shout to be thrown at you. You obviously had a reason why you let him stay up.
Well, he fell asleep in the car on the way back from the cinema, and he was tired. So you
There you go.
let children sleep when they're tired.
Exactly, yeah. Especially if they're tired.
Right,
So what if he's up at 9:20?
Right,
Give me a
I
line
vote for
in
the
the
lads.
morning.
Andy, I actually have a question about lamage rolls. Tell the world about lamage rolls.
Oh my god!
They're
lamage
spectacular.
rolls.
Lamage rolls.
Is this sandwich based?
No.
Oh.
So at Phil's not Phil's christening, because Phil was christened a
Born
long
again.
time ago. He had very, very posh nibbles.
Brought them in the
Now,
Ferrari.
you know posh nibbles,
Okay, go on.
but these were like
Silver Trade Job.
posh nibbles. They
Go
were
on.
outrageous.
This might change the way I view you, you know.
Yeah.
This is very Steve-O.
It was
Yeah,
all-
that's what
yeah.
the first thing came to mind.
It was all like, it wasn't just little vol-au-vents or anything like that. Like it was all out.
Wasn't chicken wedges and chips like.
No, there was
There was
arancini and all that good
they
stuff,
were
so-
like, yeah,
The what?
Arancini and those.
yeah.
What's arancini?
They're like deep fried Italian, but it's a deep fried Italian. So there's a risotto in it, and then there's no
Arancini?
filling in the middle, and then the deep
I
fried.
thought
on the
he was
outside.
Juventus'
They're
new
lovely.
striker.
Yeah,
There were there was very little fancy fish cakes and all that. I love me food. I was mad into them. Anyway, so he says to me, there's this other thing coming out now. It's like a sausage roll, but it has lamb through it, and then it's a long sausage roll, and then it's cut into bits.
Look at lamb kofta, is it?
No,
So we call them lamage rolls. Like,
I was googling that also. How do you make them makey up things?
but they were sensational.
Were they, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
and if anyone can replicate it, let us know what the recipe is, because like literally, it's the same pastry as the sausage roll. It
Yeah,
is the same pastry
yeah.
as the thing, but then the little trick is they put tzatziki, the Greek sort of yogurt
yeah.
dip, on top of it. So when you bite into it, you get the lamb.
Yeah,
And you get
Hungry now.
you get the sausagey roll
Give
bit,
it over.
but then there's also the hint of mint in the tzatziki, which
Yeah.
is set because
Yeah.
mint and lamb is
mint
just
and lamb,
perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
Look
I don't know whether
how
that's-
Andy was
I
reading.
don't know whether that's something you see on MasterChef
But you
or
know-
the Great British Bake Off.
Do you know what impressed me most about the lamage in the lamage roll was, you know, when you're making like cheap things like sausage rolls, and you have a mixture of meat and eyeballs and fat and
Yeah,
all
It's
sorts
all
of shit.
shy.
Yeah, and you know, like if you go to the Indian and you get lamb in a starter, like it's a mixture, it's a kebab kind of, like it's shy, right? But then if you get the main, it's proper lamb fillet. This was proper lamb fillet, shredded.
The best quality.
It was quality. Yeah,
Next week's show sponsored by Lamage Rolls.
Yes. Sponsored by Marks and Spencer's. It's like one of them Marks and Spencer's ads just
No,
turned
yeah,
out.
but like this,
I'm
but this is the
starving
thing.
now.
Like they are posh nibbles, right? You buy them for the barbecue if you want to impress your neighbours after the barbecue's over and a few hours later. But they're posh nibbles.
Yeah.
But these weren't posh nibbles. These were posh
Phil,
nibbles.
this is what we could have been getting in the bleeding President's Suite.
I know, Sean. I'm annoyed. Now I think about it, we're gonna have to tell
Yeah.
Michael D. Higgins about lamage rolls. I think we should make it the national dish of Ireland, lamage rolls, because like potato and cabbage, and it's like
Yeah.
They'd be selling
The
them in
lamage
James
rolls.
Deli before we know it.
The lamage rolls were the most scumbag element of the nibbles.
Really?
Yeah, like everything else was way posher.
See, Jay, had you not gone away for the weekend? Do you have me?
No, yeah, I feel like I'm missing out
If
here.
I have been invited, I
If you
probably
been
would
away,
have.
the other, we never got any cake.
You never got any cake?
feel like that's a real bone of contention for
Yeah.
you. Like you've not let it go.
It was fucking gorgeous looking. It was.
Oh, so there was some there, but you never got a slice.
They'd left.
It's in the post.
They
Phone
didn't.
cut
They,
Oh,
they,
what
we left
cake was
before. It was a big, huge pink one.
Fucking Williams Wordsworth.
If there's
there.
pink icing on a cake, it's bound to be gorgeous. I
hang on.
picture.
And was
I'll show you a picture.
was
of
a Liberace
Don't
used?
disappoint me and say it was a chocolate biscuit cake.
Was a Liberace
No,
used
it wasn't.
stage this
It
Christmas?
wasn't. It wasn't. It was.
Was there jam in it?
It was a sponge with cream filling on the inside. That's it there.
Was there buttercream in
Oh
it?
yeah, that's decent.
Was it
I'd
buttercream or
ate the
fresh
balls
cream?
out of
No,
that.
fresh
It looks
cream.
like
Fresh cream shy.
what were they?
Sorry, man.
Fondant fancies or
Yeah,
what?
no,
Years
they,
ago.
They were fondant fancies.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
So
is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
Oh,
telling me
Yeah, that's decent.
you had what's her bleeding name? Mary Berry making your pastries
Just so anyone who's lost
and Cake Boss making your cake.
the those I like those cakes with buttercream in them.
Do you?
Yeah,
Actually, no, it was a vanilla cream. Sorry, I tell a lie. Vanilla
vanilla
cream.
cream.
Yeah, that was in the so. It was.
Did you keep? Did you know the way people keep a slice frozen?
No, I kept one of the letters,
Oh right.
and you see that there was a little baby on top of the cake
Yeah.
that was made out of ice, and so I kept that. So it's gone into to the baby's memory
So
box.
the rest of it was milled.
Man, the rest of it was milk. It was actually like I was there slicing. You know when you're slicing a cake for ages and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah.
I just want to sit down now and have a couple of beers or something like that. I'm like,
Oh, a cup of tea and a bit of cake.
Hopefully nobody wants to eat the rest of this cake, but now it kept coming back. No, keep people on cake, but Andy gone at this stage. Right, lads. Jade, we're going to trip our shots questions.
Yeah, there's a couple. Do you want?
Last
Do you
one.
want football related or stupid jokes?
Mix it.
All right, so we'll go football first.
But we've done football.
All right, we'll fuck the football off then, right? So we'll go silly, right?
Yeah.
So what? You'll like this one, Andy. What current LFC squad member wins the World Games and why?
That's a fucking decent one for you because you did invent the World Games.
World Games.
Who would win the World Games?
Milner's all over the World Games for me.
Milner.
No,
yeah,
I don't think
it's not
so.
bad. He's got a head like a Minecraft.
Minecraft.
You know
head,
who
like.
I'd have Trent over Milner
Would you?
all
What's
day.
the reason?
Just he's a fucking athlete, isn't he?
I think Emery would be a good show for the World
He's a
Games.
bit slow, though.
Bit slow, yeah.
Yeah, but he could.
800 metre.
But he's got the power, hasn't he?
Yeah. If you ever remember Mario Kart, they said it before. Donkey
Bowser.
Kong and Bowser. They were slow to get going. But once they were moving and they didn't knock off any traps or corners.
So Emery Can's Bowser
Are
is
we
what
doing
you tell us.
separate defence or
Yeah,
is it like
they-
when the cat
Bowser or Donkey Kong.
Well,
They were
I
both the
think we
same.
decide-
They started off like a diesel, slow enough.
So the
And
World
then
Games
we'll
is
see.
kind of like the triathlon, we said. So there was a series of
But
games.
it's more
so
than
it's
triathlon.
not.
It's like a double decathlon of many different types of sports and
Yeah.
thrusts.
So for new
World
listeners, what do you want to?
The point of the whole World Games was that nobody was interested in all the shit Olympic sports anymore. Like the shooting and even the boxing, gosh. Like the just the sports that you,
Athletics. Track and field.
okay, so the 100-meter sprint is allowed in the World Games. But you're allowed
in
weapons.
Toy Story when you pull the string of Woody's back. There's a snake in my boot.
But you're allowed weapons and stuff like that. So it's kind it'd be much more interesting.
Mad Max or what?
Fuck. 100 meters sprint with nunchuckers.
Yeah, but I have to look back. So Chan would be my show for the World Games. And then yeah.
Was it anyone else?
Right, this was from G Moo. What hobby do you regret giving up, and what do you think you'd be able to do with it now if you'd kept it up? Hobbies as a kid.
See,
Drafts.
hobbies is a strange
Drafts.
Drafts.
Oh, drafts.
Yeah.
one. What
What
would
would
you
you
be
do
able
with
to
that now, though?
I'd be the champion
Would drafts stay in the World Games?
with weapons. for like I think I was 4 or 5 at the time playing drafts. I was the best 4 or 5-year-old drafts player in
Black
the
belt.
in the world.
Black belt and draft.
There was
belt and
nobody.
drafts.
There was nobody. I couldn't be touched. And I was a Catholic.
There's big money in it now.
school.
There's big money in it now.
In drafts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
big money in it. Yeah.
What about you, Phil?
hobbies is a strange one, isn't it? Because like hobbies isn't like a sport. It's like, you know, in my head, like the stuff I did as a kid was mainly on sport. So if I was thinking about what sport we're doing, well, I did gymnastics for years.
Did you?
Yeah,
Like what events in gymnastics? Like
rings,
Onion rings or
Onion-
lambage rings.
lambage rings. No, I did, yeah.
like full gladiator style rings, like. You know, remember?
What?
Dun,
No,
dun, dun,
you
dun,
sap.
dun, dun, dun,
No,
and they were
no.
fucking-
No, man, that's just fucking.
He wasn't in
going across.
gladiators. He was in gymnastics.
Gymnastics.
It's a
Yeah, but
difference.
it's the same thing, though.
The rings,
Yeah.
and you do twirls and spins and
Oh,
inverted
okay,
crosses and the works on it.
Mine are probably
Them and the horse. And you used to run up in the pommel and you do flip over the pommel and stuff like that.
And you could do all that.
Yeah. I can still do a flip.
Go ahead then now.
Well, I'm not doing it on the camera. No, we're making ours.
We'll
No,
periscope it next week.
yeah, no, I could still do a flip. My daughter's actually very good at gymnastics, but like, yeah, gymnastics, and I probably would have won a gold medal in the Olympics.
Not short of self-confidence.
played
Surely.
a lot of video games when I was younger.
Yeah.
No, like honestly, like Call of Duty, I was fairly handy at Call of Duty 4.
Oh, should I kill that ratio and team deathmatch or Search and Destroy?
Search and Destroy hardcore.
Yeah, same.
And they get away with that team deathmatch shit.
Yeah.
I was up 3s or 4s round that
Did you ever do an ninja defuse?
when I was on my own against 4.
No, like you know the way the fella be planting the bomb.
I mean,
You
just go in behind
you
them.
Just go in behind
Nah.
him, and as soon as he
That's-
gets up, he hears the briefcase closing,
And then
but
he
you're
doesn't-
opening it,
Yeah.
so he doesn't twig that you're
No,
there.
I was
and
more-
all his party is dead,
Yeah, I was more efficient than that.
so nobody's going. Oh, they're fucking-" So and
Yeah.
then you just defuse the
No,
bomb.
I was fairly handy at Call of Duty, and now you look at playing. There's a market for it now. This games. There's people making millions playing
I've
it.
seen the e-games thing.
There's people making
do you reckon
millions
you
playing it.
Do you reckon?
Well, handy enough.
If you picked up now the PlayStation 2, would you be able to get back into it and do the whole?
No, because I didn't have online for PlayStation 2.
Well, then the PlayStation.
But you know what I really,
Xbox
I really
360.
struggle with the left toggle for moving.
No, I
characters.
used the tactical.
Actually,
setting.
looking at your thumb there, it's bollocks.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
For FIFA, no.
Yes. I used the tactical crouch for Call
Jesus,
of Duty.
Sean,
so
you've got
combo.
fucking fierce small hands.
Yeah, I know. Little Mitts Lawson, they call
Don't
me.
start with
Look
the small hands,
look
small
at the
hands
size.
thing as well.
Hang on, put yours up, Jay, because you said you
Don't
small
make me
hands.
hands
They'd
up
still
thing
hook
again.
the blade and gabber off. No,
Your hands are freaky, man.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Tiny, ain't they?
Yeah.
More
That
out
is
proportion.
tiny, yeah.
Makes me cock look used after.
Like on Saturday night. What?
You kind of have regret like not making more your childhood like in terms of sports. Like the sports like I've started to play in the last few years, like golf, volleyball,
Yeah.
racquetball.
You play volleyball?
Yeah,
Where'd you play that? Like in a league?
on the
Like,
beach.
in a place.
In the office.
I played
like in a
court.
team? Like,
Yeah, but just
Volleyball team.
no, like a kind of. It's hard to explain in the recording.
I remember now.
oh, your talent.
Yeah.
Well-
I used to be deadly at jumping over people with a ramp on a BMX bike. So you know what you do? You put the ramp down, right? Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah,
Right, so you put the ramp down.
And you're sick,
I
you
know,
gave
I
that
was
up.
dangerous bastard on a
Oh,
bike.
yeah, that's what I'm going to say, right? So you used
Neil
to,
Gray would be the guy that'd lie
we
underneath
used to
the
have it,
ramp.
right? And then,
Yeah.
Where is Neil Gray?
He's gone. He's gone. I got a text there a second ago. I'll tell you later. He's gone. You used to put the ramp down,
on
and
his
then
gear.
we'll do it later. Right,
He's
so
been arrested.
basically, right. So you put the ramp down, and then it was sort of like more daring. So somebody'd lie down, and everyone would jump over them, right? And then more people lie down, and then you'd see how many you could jump over. So the record I had was 8 people that you could jump over with
hell.
the rally board. on.
Monster trucks.
Oh, proper order. The problem was that when the 9th went down, they ended up with a crushed pelvis as the bike came down on top of them.
Did you
Whack
really?
out. No, it was. And I used to do swings. You know, I used to be
So I
deadly.
think it's probably a good thing you gave that up.
Well, I used to be deadly at swings as well.
What
What do you mean
swings?
swing?
The same thing.
In
You
the
get
park,
you
like?
get people to lie down at the edge of the swings, and then you swing as high as you can, and then you jump off at the height of the swing and try clear as many people as possible.
And you had super friends that sit there and let you just.
That's what we used to do for the crack.
Do you know what sport I wish was invented?
What about you, Jamie, actually?
No, I'm just listening. I'm
Wrong
enjoying all
cards
this.
and scaring.
Swan rape alarms. Remember?
Totally forgot about that.
Do you know the way when you go on your holidays and you find like on the street there's a goal and like there's a fella in goal
Oh, like pissed up. I bet you can't beat this keeper. You get a bottle of wine.
And it's that sort of thing. Now the goals are small, but
the keepers were always
the
deadly.
ball
Though.
is more than 12 yards out. Yeah, no, well, it's just like everything's just setting the advantage, or else like there's a goal and you have to kick the ball as hard as you can, or into a target and all that. I wish that was a professional sport, like clean up.
You good at that?
Yeah.
So you're good at penalties?
I'm good at kicking the ball hard
into a particular zone.
Yeah. Now I might get
the Pulse goals of the day trippers.
He's good at kicking the ball hard with his head.
Kicking the ball hard into targets. I would have. I would have liked that. You know the crossbar. You know the crossbar challenge.
Yeah.
Like from 18 yards.
Lads, I've got
the crossbar challenge.
We're going to have to periscope us doing the
I can't miss a crossbar challenge from 18 yards. I can't miss a crossbar. I've never missed a crossbar.
Whoa. Yeah, no, we're gonna say that again.
I've never missed a crossbar from 18 yards ever.
What number of attempts are we talking about?
Watch out.
If I done 10, like I just hit it 10 times, no problem. I could say if you said to me, hit the bottom of the crossbar, I just put a bit of backspin on it.
Bit of fade.
No, you know where you get under with the laces. I just hit the bottom of the crossbar. If you said hit the top, I just like chip.
Can you do it as the ball comes back to you after hitting the crossbar? Can you do it again and again? Like remember?
Oh yeah. No, I can't do that.
No,
or smash it off into a bin and all that.
Yeah.
No.
But just from the 18 yard on the deck, off the bar.
Never missed. Never missed with his words.
Hang on a second. Let's go with the closest thing we've got to War Games, right? Let's get a load of knives and go up the skill zone.
Yeah.
And have a bash at it, right? So, and we attack each other with knives while we're trying to do the skills.
Did you see skills?
Andy,
Did you see it? Did you have a look at the videos of all the things you can do?
No, what is it?
Well, the chipping in golf, it's a 15 yard chip into like a bucket, like a huge. I wouldn't miss one of them.
Right.
Full golf club.
Oh, that's a golf club one.
Right. Okay.
Then there's a rugby ball over a bar.
No other.
So this is like the cube.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah, we've got to do this.
I wouldn't miss one. The guy one out of your hands or off the ground over crossbar.
Back myself there.
I wouldn't miss one. Like what else was
maestro.
there? Oh, baseball. I'd miss every single one of them. You know
surely that'd be closest to what you're good at. You're good with hand-eye coordination.
No. If the ball stays, the ball is still, no problem. Not a ball coming out of it. One of those automatic pitchers. It's coming out like a rocket.
Oh, lads, I want to play this.
You have to swing a baseball.
You've got to do it.
I'm going to periscope it.
And then the other one, what was the other one? Tennis. No, like
serve.
Yeah.
Imagine you have a main backhand.
I connect with the ball, but I don't think I put it into the back wall or back over the net. I wasn't good at tennis, and that kick has shit. Club and
so in case you're listening, Andy is basically sorry he gave everything up because he was unbelievable.
What other sports are in that?
I don't know. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the whole lot of up the skill zone and have the skill zone game.
We've got to have a fucking tournament.
Right, lads, we're going to wrap it up there. So just what's left for the rest of the week?
Predictions for the game.
No. I'll tell you what, we're not doing the preview of the game because we're going to leave that over to our new one of our new podcasts that we have on the channel. It's a channel now, not just a podcast. What?
I better give Nish my phone number because I want to have me say.
Okay, grand. I'll give Nish your phone number, right? Yeah, that's all right. That's all right there, Nish. Nish, you can go on with Nish, right? We can confuse everyone, Nish and Nish, right?
That wasn't bad. No,
it wasn't too bad, Jay. For
that doesn't mind.
This.
Anyway, look, before
this is for Carl if you're listening, all right? Don't be giving me shite in the WhatsApp.
Okay. Just let me wrap this up here, right? So anyway, look, thanks for listening. It's been Jay, it's been Sean, it's been Andy, it's myself, and at one point tonight it was Neil.
The ghost of Neil.
The ghost of Neil Gray was here indeed. Anyway, so that was that. This week we were sponsored. Who did I say we were sponsored by at the start?
Lambage rolls.
Yeah.
Lambage rolls, big time.
Skill zone.
That could be a serious one. And everything else.
And the World Games.
By the way, if for people listening, you would have seen that our fourth post-match podcast came out after the Bilbao game. There will be one out after the Watford game this week. Nish will have one out, the media review, the weekend review. The weekend of couch is out on Thursday or Friday, and he'll also preview the game against Watford. And Steve-O's Tuesday interview is on Wednesday because it is the day trippers, and they're never going to get us fucking right all the time. So he's that. I think it's Simon Hughes' interview on this week. So get on and listen to it. So there's going to be podcasts right through the week, one for every day of the week, and one for everyone in the audience, as we all say. So get on, subscribe, retweet, share, the whole lot. We're on Facebook. We're on Periscope, we're on Instagram, Twitter. My batch is about to run out on the Mac. So with that, good night, God bless. We'll talk to you next week.